GamerFront.net, and these are my friends from Marble Hornets. Why don't you guys take a minute to introduce yourselves?
You're Joseph.
I'm Joseph.
I'm Joseph. No, I'm Troy. This is Tim.
Yeah.
Hey.
Hey.
We made Marble Hornets, but she already said that. Yep.
It's
Well,
beautiful.
We're off to a running
We're not
start.
done with it.
Yeah,
We're-
we didn't make it.
Did you give it up now that you guys are famous?
Yes.
Now that you guys are independent filmmakers? So anyway, there are several approaches to what you guys do with Marble Hornets and everything, and the Slender Man mythos and everything. So why don't you just give us an idea of what Marble Hornets specifically is about?
Troy, you started it.
It is just I don't know. It kind of feels like it was like the first film to involve the Slender Man, as far as I know, like a series on the internet, I guess. So it didn't really. There was nothing really to go on. There wasn't a mythos or anything, as far as I know, at that point. So
Other than what had already been said in the Something Awful thread.
yeah,
Right.
So
That
we
came
just
out.
I just kind of called Joseph one day. I was like, "Hey, you want to make a thing for the internet? Because I'm bored."
And I
He was
said,
like, yeah.
okay.
And then later we were like, "Hey Tim, you want to come make a thing for the internet? Because we're bored." He was like, "Yeah." And it became Marble Hornets. That is the worst answer to that question I've ever given.
No,
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
I don't know how to describe it. That really. I don't know how to describe
What
it.
is
I'm
it
terrible
ab-
at this question.
She asked what it's about.
It's
so
about a bad student film that involves a bad thing happening.
A
So
serious
it's-
answer is your narrator was friends with the filmmaker
Yeah.
for this student film, and something went terribly wrong during the filming, but Jay, the narrator, is just trying to find out what. And that's how it starts off, and then it just kind of...
Careens out of control.
Yeah, so...
So none of you guys are actually horrible film students that just...
God, I hope-
Let's not get ahead of
Yeah.
ourselves.
I'm not a student anymore.
He's a horrible film graduate.
Well, congratulations.
Thanks.
I guess.
And congratulations on being horrible.
So, you guys are doing writing on the new Slender the Arrival game, which is a sequel to Slender the 8 Pages. And I assume that Mark Hadley, the guy who made the 8 Pages, was a fan of yours, to begin with. Did you guys ever get your hands on the first Slender
Yes.
game?
And I was terrible at it. I have not, full disclosure, never even got past 4 pages.
Nice.
Either I would get caught, or I'd just be like, I can't do it anymore. I can't. I am a jumpy person, and it's just too much. Oh my god.
It's so easy to scare Joseph. I was thinking about just screaming in his face right there, but I might disturb people next door.
Yeah.
But yeah, I played the. It wasn't called the 8 Pages at the time. I don't think
It was just
called
Slender.
Yeah, I got 6 pages in. It was pretty bad. It was
Intense.
It wasn't bad.
It was horrible.
Yeah, it was an intense experience that.
Even though I can't beat it, I still enjoy it.
Yeah.
I'm just like, ugh.
I never actually played it. I just watched him play it. That was enough for me.
Yeah.
We're
That's
big
Like, that's
babies,
good.
basically.
So you guys, obviously being serious actors and filmmakers, are you fans? Are you fans of the horror genre, or is it something that you do as a defense mechanism to get away?
I don't know if I'd get all psychological about it like that, but I'm not like a horror aficionado or anything. It's I kind of think stereotypical horror movies like gore and stuff are kind of, it's a saturated market, and I didn't really want to get in that because it's oversaturated, I guess. Maybe not oversaturated, but saturated. Anyway.
Yeah, not a big gore person. I don't find
Yeah.
that scary. I like the more psychological stuff, I
I don't
guess.
think people really watch horror for it to be scary.
Yeah.
Anyway, really. They just blood.
We want to root for
But,
Jason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Definitely never saw us making a horror series,
Yeah.
though.
Not for this long, especially.
Yeah.
I've done before Marble Hornets. I've done some weird things like animations or videos before that I never really showed anyone. So it was kind of like I had very limited experience with it. So I can kind of see making that, but not like this expansive, I guess.
Yeah.
So did I assume that the creator of Slender came to you guys and asked you guys to work on the next installment? How did that encounter go?
Funny story. I was actually the one that contacted him originally, not about writing.
Oh, really?
But it was after Slender came out, and I played it, got scared, and closed it as quickly as I could. I saw he had a Twitter account, so I direct messaged him, and I was like, "Hey, hit me up on Skype. I want to talk to you about this. This is awesome." And I did. And he's like, "Yeah," and he's like, "Yeah, I'm a fan of you guys too, and everything." And I was like, "Hey, if you ever need any help with this, feel free to like hit us up, because like this is great. We want to be a part of this." And then I didn't hear from him for a while, and then out of the blue he's like, "Hey, you guys want to write for a thing?" And we're like, "Yes."
It was like the fastest I've ever said yes to something.
Did you let him finish?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, yes, let's do it.
So, what's the basic idea behind the Arrival? Is it anything similar to? Is it more close to Slender? Does it cross over to Marble Hornets at all?
We had to ask them what
Yeah.
we were allowed to say to that question, and unfortunately we can't say a whole lot other than it and Marble Hornets are like completely separate.
Okay.
Yeah,
They're not.
So there's
they're
no
not-
potential for crossover.
Sorry, we're
Yeah.
not. We took a hard stance on that with Marble Hornets, and that has nothing to do with Slender Rival. We just decided a long time ago we just want to be in our own little
It's
bubble.
It's gonna be a web series for now.
Yeah. As to what Slender the Rival is about, we also can't say a whole lot about that. But we can say it is going to have some similar elements to the Slender the 8 Pages, and that it's a lot of feeding on that fear of isolation and all that good spooky stuff. It's
Definitely has the whole tapping into the fear of what's behind me.
Right.
Like that's kind of its whole
we
thing.
Yeah.
think that we stayed really true to that, and hopefully expanded upon it.
Yeah.
in a good way.
Yeah.
Not
Well,
like Star Wars Extended Universe type stuff. Or anything.
No, extended in the fact that it's actually 12 pages in this new one.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what we
that's
did.
what we
We were
did.
like,
We decided-
I was like, hold on, guys, I have the best idea. Make it 9 pages. And they're like, what? And then they paid us $1 million.
Yeah,
It's like the meme with the guys who were like, how do we make this better? Cross it out. 12 pages. Ha ha ha
And we
ha.
were like, that'll be all the money.
That's why we make the big bucks.
Yeah.
Hardcore mode is 24 pages, so
Yeah.
you guys
All
looking for a
tens
real
of dollars
challenge.
you
Yes.
guys make. So the Slender Arrival beta is out if you pre-order. SlenderArrival.com, right? Is that right?
That's right.
Yeah.
I just googled the Arrival, Slender the Arrival. I can't remember what the website is. It's SlenderTheArrival.com.
No, just Slender Arrival.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, you're right. You know more than I do.
So yeah, beta's available, SlenderArrival.com if you pre-order it for as low as $5. And the beta is basically finding the 8 pages similar to the first one. So does it ever expand beyond looking for the pages?
Yeah, they just made that. The developers, Blue Isle, we didn't develop it, we just helped write. They said they did that for a number of reasons. The main one being that's kind of what people are the most familiar with.
Mm.
So they're kind of easing them into this new thing. Like it's gonna be like Slender the 8 Pages, but there's gonna be other stuff. But here's what this 8 pages part is like,
Yeah.
Right.
basically.
They stripped out a lot of story elements in what is the beta, just because it would be spoilers.
Yeah.
It's like you don't want to give that away. But it goes a lot deeper. And
So it's a lot more story intensive.
yes,
I don't know if I would say intensive.
there is a story.
Yeah. Well, I
It
mean,
is
like
intense.
it's not all like epic cutscenes, like knife fights and stuff. But
Slender knife fights. Tentacle fights.
I should have thought of that. There should have been a knife fighting minigame.
Now I
in
need
this
writer credit.
Yeah.
So, did you guys have any, silly question to ask considering you approached him, but I was going to say, do you guys have any, hesitations as to how the game is going to be?
No.
No?
No.
It's we've played most of the builds they put together, and it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Right.
It's the only it was
Even with God mode turned on, so I'm just flying through walls and stuff. I'm like, I can't do this.
It's too dark.
even when you can fly.
Yeah.
It was really weird that because they had kind of already built a really basic version of a handful of levels at the time that we came on. So they're like, here's a basic idea for this level. write a story and a reason for being here.
Yeah.
So like they gave us.
We're very familiar with that kind of writing style too.
So like they'd send us the builds and we would like walk through them and see like, oh, you could put this here or you could have this happen here. And I don't know if that's how people in the actual business do it.
That's how we do it.
It was cool to do it that way.
Yeah, and I mean, even with just the levels, they did some really impressive stuff with just the atmosphere. Like, even when I knew that, like, the enemies, or Slenderman hadn't even been put in the game yet, or on this level, it's not done, I'm just like...
Yeah, there's a...
Did I mention I'm a big baby?
There's like a few of the early builds are just like pink meshes and you're just like, ah!
Just like big white rectangles, but it still looks really awesome. So.
So, I mean, you mentioned that the two are completely separate from one another, Marble Hornets and The Arrival. Were there any challenges, or did you find it any more challenging to write for a game as opposed to a web series? Did you get much freedom to work with Slender the Arrival? Or?
They basically handed us the keys and said, go. We had a ridiculous amount of freedom in terms of writing. The real hindering factor, though, was the release date that they wanted to push. We weren't able to, like, say, create entirely new assets that would have to be designed, artwork done, put in the game, just because it wasn't feasible. But in terms of story elements...
I mean, we thought of a few things that they were like, okay, we can't actually do that.
DLC.
Yeah.
DLC.
Yeah. But probably the hardest part that I've never had to do before with, like, you know, whenever we write Marble Hornets or whatever, was like trying to figure out what information you want to show outright to the player, what information you want to like hide behind a rock for the adventurous people to find, and what information you want to leave up to their imagination. Like, that was a weird balancing act that you had to find, because, you know, you tell people too little, they're going to get angry that like their time was wasted or something, you know.
Too much.
Actually, it's kind of like Marble Hornets.
Yeah, how long have we been going on, guys?
Oh, come on.
So,
We're the softball questions, come on.
Actually, because you said that, the next Marble Hornets is the end.
Yeah, good job.
just cancel it, guys.
Yep.
So you guys basically, they gave you the builds and said, tell us what to do with this, basically?
Not really tell us what to do with it, because they like, you know.
Or what would you
It
like
was
to do?
tell a story with this.
Tell us a story, and we'll tell you if we can feasibly build that with the time and resources that we have.
Credit to them, the things that they could do but may have been like difficult to do, they still did what they could. Like they worked really hard to do what we asked, even as unreasonable as some of the requests might have been.
And with like no real upfront funding. I mean, what I've seen is really impressive.
Yeah.
And if anything, I think that method might have been easier than if they just said, okay, we're just starting out, we don't have anything, come up with a story. Whereas at least with this, you know, they had some basic early levels to kind of dance around in and be like, okay, no, this would be cool here.
Yeah, it was almost like having like less freedom helped a little bit. Like less freedom isn't like you have this basic idea for level, you have this basic idea for level. It was better than what do we do?
Yeah.
Like anything can go right now. Like then you might think of.
Unfortunately, they cut the car chase.
Yeah, the car
Sorry.
chases.
I was hoping for the
Car
secret
chase with the
identity.
crossbow ninjas.
Yeah.
Had to take those out, which is really lame.
Why don't they just realize that all games need to have weapons? Every single one. Flashlights.
Petition them for another sequel, maybe they'll
The
do
flash
it.
gun was supposed to be a chain gun. But
Yeah. Did you say flash gun?
did I?
Yeah, you said flash gun.
Wow.
Don't tell him about the flash gun!
Ah!
It's just like a gun that shoots women lifting up their shirts.
That's exactly what it is.
That's exactly what it was.
You heard it here first.
That's what we said when they asked around. They're like, yes, but we'll do it, but under one condition.
It's a flashlight and not that thing you said.
Well, I'm glad we had that clarified.
Yeah.
So, I mean, your series, going back to Marble Hornets, like, it's been commented on by people all the way from, like, Wil Wheaton to Roger Ebert. What was going through your mind when you saw those comments?
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember the day that Tim just kind of called me, because it was him that got Roger Ebert to look at it.
Yeah, I posted in his comment section pretending that I was someone else that was actually doing it because, you know, I'm sure I'm not the only person to ever do that, but he actually, because I knew that all of his comments had to be like approved, so I was like, even if he doesn't post it, he's still gonna see it. And then not only did he post it, but he actually like commented underneath it, and that was kind of our first.
He said it was remarkably well done.
Yeah.
He hasn't seen anything after that, I'm sure. But so
Still cool that he watched.
yeah.
There's a
Somebody
lot of
mail him
reviews.
some DVDs if you know his address.
And Wil Wheaton, that was mind blowing too, because we actually had a little back and forth on Twitter with him.
Oh, really?
Because he posted he butt tweeted. And he was like, "Thanks to the Ark," and we're like, "Wait, what?"
How does he know that
And then
the Ark operates things with
Tim
butts?
again was the guy that commented and was like, "Hey, to the Ark, I actually make that," and they had this little back and forth for a second. And he's like, "Wait, you're that Tim?" Holy crap!
Yes, that is me.
So that was neat. The little
fanboy table turn.
the little couple seconds it took Wil Wheaton to read our tweets and reply. It was just mind blowing.
You're like, oh, he's probably looking at it right now. It was really weird because I was at Dragon Con that year before, and he was there, and I walked by him, and it was I never thought that would happen ever, with him seeing something that we did.
Oh, and the Walking Dead.
Oh yeah. The kid that plays Carl in The Walking Dead in the AMC show. We were at Dragon Con this year, and he walked up to us, and he was like, "Did you guys make Marble Hornets?" And he was really theatrical about it. He was like, "I love Marble Hornets."
That's awesome.
But we didn't realize it was him at first. We thought I was just some little kid.
Because I'd never seen The Walking Dead by that point, and I did fix that
click
since
in my
then because
head.
of that. But it was because I didn't really recognize him. Somebody, because we were standing in line for BioWare's panel when he came up to us. But then I went back into the autograph room the next day, and sure enough, he was sitting right behind the table. I was like, "Oh hey, the guy behind the line was right. Behind me in line was right, apparently."
And how old was he?
I don't know.
I'm not sure. He's he's got to be 13, 14, something like that. He actually asked
I
for a
hope he
picture
doesn't
for
see this and
me,
get
which
really
was weird.
offended.
I'm surprised I can't even watch that show without peeing my pants.
Yeah.
Like,
It's he works with zombies.
I know, right? That's insane. So, have you guys ever received any other correspondence regarding maybe work collaborating on other projects with people?
We get a lot. Well, I won't say a lot, but a good number of people being like, "Hey, I'm making this thing. Do you want to collaborate or make it some kind of crossover with Marble Hornets or something?" And in the nicest way possible, we usually say it's kind of already written. There's not really space for that in there. It's not we're too good for you or anything. It's just it wouldn't fit in there with what we have right now.
Mm-hmm.
We're too lazy to rewrite it.
Yeah, sorry.
But yeah, I mean, we get a few things like that every now and then. But
In terms of A-list names being Bruce Willis is just "Hey, I'd really love to get on Marble Hornets and show that Slender Man what for."
It's a good
That
thing
hasn't
Slender-
happened yet, but Bruce, I mean, come on, we're open.
we're already on a first name basis with it.
Yeah, well,
Bruce, listen to me.
you have to foster a casual atmosphere.
Yeah.
That's true. Fake it till you make it.
That's right.
Well, do you guys have, I think that's about it for all the questions. Do you guys have any, projects coming up aside from Marble Hornets and Slender that you're working on that you would like to plug?
None that we can talk openly about.
Yeah.
NDAs?
We can say that now that we're not in the middle of finals and stuff, we can actually start making the entries. Hopefully a little bit quicker. A little bit. Hopefully no more 2-month breaks.
Yeah.
Can we go with that?
We can probably reasonably say it will not take 2 months to do something.
Okay, 70% sure?
Yeah.
Okay, 70% sure. No more 2-month breaks
And maybe
until
actually
we're done.
squeeze another comedy short in there somewhere too, because we haven't done one of those since August.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much for taking the time to talk with me and GamerFront.net about Slender the Arrival. So you can pre-order Slender the Arrival on SlenderArrival.com. Pre-order is $5. You get access to the beta, and it comes out on March 26th.
Yes.
Yeah. So thanks so much for watching, and keep your eye out on GamerFront.net for more awesome, fun, happy time game
Stuff!